Hey everybody, I'm David with Bolivar Live, and you know, the surroundings may look a little different today. We're actually in Lumberton, Texas at Priest Insurance Agency. You know, Dan does work here, but he also travels and does work on Bolivar. And you and I were just talking in your office, serving Bolivar Peninsula for 20 years with Priest Insurance.
Yeah, we've been down there for 20...
Writing policies down there.
Since 2001.
Yeah, and so that's what you need in an insurance company, is someone with ties that knows the area. But not only does he do business down there, he's a big supporter in the community because he also has a house down there, and your family's had it, what, for 50 years? 50 years. So, you know, do the math. He's part of Bolivar. But we just got our first cool front in.
We did.
We've got another one coming here, I believe, next week. And you know, we've had, luckily it was 2 years apart, but we had some freezes down there.
Right.
And they weren't just freezes, they were disasters.
They were big.
Because when your house is built 12 to 14 foot off the ground, and you're used to wearing shorts and flip-flops this time of year, and up north they're skiing, we're not made for that.
No, it's a different thing for us, and the beach really isn't made for that either. So
right. Let's talk about the insurance, because I don't understand it, and I'm hoping I'm not the dumb one of the bunch. Hope some other ones need some explaining on how that works. What part of your insurance or what insurance covers? So you left for the holidays, you haven't made it back down in January, and we get one of those Arctic fronts.
yeah,
And you didn't turn your water off, and it's fine through the freeze.
right.
But then it thaws, and the water department drives by, turns your meter off, but water's been running in your house probably for a day or two.
Yep.
What insurance covers that?
That would fall under your homeowner's policy. So there's three at the beach, as you all know. There's the homeowner's policy or the hazard policy, and then that excludes wind. And then there's a wind and hail policy that picks up that portion. So those two together make the standard homeowner's policy.
Right.
And then there's the flood policy, which also covers water damage, but that's water coming up.
Coming up.
So anytime you have water that's coming down, that goes to your homeowner's policy.
You know how I'm always coming up with questions.
Always.
And off the wall
So
comments.
it rained, the water came down, which was a subsequent cause. Yeah.
No, but when you said, and I knew that was water rising, so if I have a water line under my house and the pipe breaks and it's shooting up into the bottom of my house and damages my carpet and stuff,
I don't know.
is that rising water?
No, that's funny you mention that, because that would probably fall under the coverage of a discharge. However,
okay.
most homeowners policies, actually, it's an interesting question. The typical homeowner's policy covers from the top of the slab up.
Okay.
There are some policies that do cover from the bottom of the slab and underneath that house. I know that we have one, and there's another company that has one. That's a very strong company. But so pipes that break in the slab, oftentimes
Aren't covered.
Most homeowners policies don't cover it. I say all the time that all homeowners policies look the same until you need them, and that's very, very true. There's a lot of differences in homeowners policies. So getting back to your discharge of water question, or things that can happen at the beach that's not a hurricane in winter. That's water break-in, that's lightning, or a straight line wind with a hailstorm. But discharge of water comes from the hazard policy. One of the things that you have to think about is, again, those policies look the same. So if you're a primary homeowner's policy, that coverage may or may not be limited, may or may not be included.
Okay.
Some people include that for $5,000. Some people up to $25,000. Some is the policy limit, which is better for you.
Right.
I think you want that full coverage if you have a water line or a hot water heater in your attic
Yes.
that either breaks or freezes and it runs for 2 days down through your house.
Yeah, because it can actually flood the whole house. So you're talking sheetrock up 3 foot probably, at least.
If it's in the ceiling, it's more than that.
Yeah, and you may have to gut. I've seen some houses.
Insulation.
Yeah, saw some houses after the last freeze where they just had to gut the whole house.
We had some of those.
Yeah.
That happens. So if a pipe breaks under your house,
You're not going to get that
Your
much.
water bill's going to go up.
Yeah.
Or in the soffit, there's going to be some damage. But if you have a line that breaks in the wall of your house or in the attic, that if the freeze is long enough, which we've had, those pipes are at risk. So you have to know what that coverage limit is. People that have a second home, from the insurance company's perspective, you're not down there 3 or 4 weeks, so that coverage could be limited, and likely is. If you're a short-term rental, that coverage is limited. You need to know what those, and some of those companies have big numbers, $100,000 that have that. Some of them are none.
Yeah.
So you got to know and know what you're buying.
Knock on wood, hurricane season's over. Almost,
I guess.
Uh,
It's going to have to be moved forward, I think.
yeah, because they start earlier and earlier. What was your take on hurricane season this year? You know, we had Burl come through. We had another close call, but then it turned. Just real quick, what's your thoughts on hurricane season? What happened for Burl?
You know, Burl, I would call this for Texas a sort of an average season. You know, we had a few threats, we had one that hit, but it's a good reminder that we are just as vulnerable as Florida.
Right.
And I don't know how many Florida's had now, 5, maybe 4, and they're working.
They're fixing another one probably.
So that can be the Texas coast. It just depends on how it lines up. So it is super important to take a look at your policies, review them, make sure coverage is adequate because you don't want to be caught short. Look at things like ICC on your wind policy, that sort of thing.
Well,
make sure you know what your deductibles are.
I know we had a lot of new homeowners down there this year, and we really, since the pandemic, we hadn't had a storm or a close call.
Nothing major.
And this raised some eyes because some of them stayed, some of them went ahead and left, but a lot of them came to me and said, David, we listened to you and you told us, hey, if you don't have to be here, it's a good time to leave. We stayed because we thought, well, if David's going to stay, we're going to stay. Man, we will not stay again. And one of them said, when I have to only fill my wine glass half full because the house is moving, because I'm having to drink wine to survive, he said, no more.
You know, those of us that have lived on the coast for a while, you know,
you're used to it.
Well, you're used to it, but really, do you really want to be there when there's no power?
Right.
For 3 days.
Yeah. We went it went out at 6:30 Monday morning. We started getting it back at about 4:30 a.m. Friday morning, and so that was 4 to 5 days.
I had friends that stayed that will never do it again, and make no question, at 2 a.m. when the wind's gusting 100 miles an hour and lightning striking,
and you don't have power. Yeah.
You do realize that you could have been in Katy eating out at a hotel. It's just something to think about.
Yeah. Well, like we always say, you never know what we're going to get strung out on in some of our conversations, but the biggest thing is know that Priest Insurance is there for you. Even if you don't have a policy and you have a question, Jamie, Shay, the whole bunch has the experience, and they're there to answer your questions and help you through whatever you're working on. And they'll also look at your existing policy and give you some ideas. So Dan, thanks for joining us today. Until next time, I'm David with Bolivar Live. Y'all have a great day, great week. Come see us. God bless, and bye-bye.